Hello digital artists, and we are back with Demo 3. This is probably the one most people are interested in, adding doors and windows to their building. It's pretty much we're going to use the same techniques, making vertical lines and taking them back to the same side vanishing point. Unless we want to make the doors look like they have depth, then we're going to use the opposite side vanishing point, like we did for the sidewalk where we left off. So here we learned sometimes we go to the same side vanishing point, but like when we're adding depth to things or making like these sidewalk lines, sometimes we need to use the opposite side. So this is just a brief review of where we left off, and now we are going to learn how to create doors and windows. So this is pretty straightforward. What we're going to do first is make a vertical line like right here for our door. Then we're going to take the top of this line back to this same side vanishing point. Then all we're going to do is figure out where we want our door to end, put a dot like in this example right here, and then I made the vertical line come down to touch the bottom of the building. And that's all there is to it, and that's the same technique for windows pretty much. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to pick a color. I'll get orange like I did in the demo. Drag this over here. Okay, so now I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to make a door. So I'm going to figure out where on the bottom here I want the right side of my door to stop. And I'm going to put a dot, and then I'm going to check out the X coordinate. It says 322. If I look in the right corner here, 322. So I'm going to come up and make sure that says 322 wherever I want the top of the door to be. Let's say right here. And I'm going to, oops, I forgot to hold shift. So I'll just come back down here, 322, shift. Okay, there. So now I'm going to take this corner. So let me put a dot on 322 again. Right there. Up a little bit. Click. Okay. So I clicked on the end of that, and now I can come over here and hold shift this time and click over here. And now I have this line. So then I'm going to figure out where I want the width of my door, like how wide I want the door. And I'm going to put a dot here. Watch my X coordinate. It says 257 up there. So I'm going to come down here and make sure this says 257. Hold shift and click. And now I have a door in 2-point perspective on this left side of the building. But now I have to erase this extra line, so I can do that. But I'm going to have to like get the green back and, you know, be real careful about all of this. So instead of, you know, erasing like that, what I like to do, and I showed you in the last video, here, let me go back a few steps, is, hold on. Okay, what I like to do is to place a ruler on the screen. So I'm taking a real ruler and I'm lining up the top of this orange line. I'm lining up the top of this orange line here with the vanishing point to the left, the same side one. So my ruler is laying right here. And wherever I want that line, the width of the door to stop, like let's say here, I'll put a dot. Well, let's see, let me put a dot here first. And then I'll put a dot right here while I hold shift. Okay, so I'm going to hold shift and click, and it'll make that line. So that way, this line is headed towards here, as we can see. See, if I extended it, it would go right there. But now I don't have all that erasing to do. So now I can come to this, wherever this line ends. I can click, and my X is 252. So I'm going to click there, hold shift, come down here, make sure my X coordinate says 252, and there. Now I have the door in perfect 2-point perspective. Let me go back here for a minute. Let's see. Then I showed you how to make the door look open. So this little frozen throwback for you. Art is an open door. So to make the door look open, we're going to take this far bottom corner back to the opposite vanishing point, which is this little black line here. Again, I use the ruler trick to avoid having to erase the lines. So we come here and I take this black, just so we can see the difference. And I put a dot here where the door meets the bottom of the building. Then I take my ruler and I'm placing it on the screen right where my cursor is and lining it up with the vanishing point on the opposite side, the one on the right. Then I'm going to follow my ruler line, which is right about here. And I'm going to hit shift and click. And you can see now the door looks open. So what I could do is like I could fill this in with color, this area here, you know, and we'll talk about that later when we do the color perspective demo. That's the next one. But you can see if I hold shift down now and I take it to this point, it would extend that line. But now I just save myself all the trouble of erasing. So, you know, by placing the ruler on the screen, I can see where it would lead and, you know, I don't have to do all that work. So, all right, so now for Windows, it's basically the same thing. Again, are you remembering to save your work? Don't forget, because, you know, every time you do something, then you just have to redo it if something freezes or crashes. So for Windows, we do it the same way as doors. We create a vertical line. We take the top and bottom back to each vanishing point. Erase extra lines as needed. And you can use a real ruler to help you. And then we just do the same thing. If we want to show like part of the ceiling, we take the opposite or the farthest corner away back to the opposite vanishing point. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to put the windows on this side. And okay. What I did in this PowerPoint, or like in this example too, is like, okay, I placed these windows first, and then to place these windows, I like followed the corner over straight with a ruler to put this in this corner in the same line as this one. And then I just made these a little wider. So like you can use your ruler to like get the spacing in between here and here even, or to start your windows like the same distance down from the top. So like this corner can line up with this corner and this distance can line up with this distance. So you can do all that. But for right now, I'm just going to take my orange again and I'm going to make some windows. So I'm just going to take a point, watch my X coordinate, it says 429. So I'm just going to come down, and you can measure all this out if you want it specifically a certain height. I'm going to make it pretty big so you can see it. 429, hold shift. Okay, so now I have a line down for the window. So I could do this in various ways. I could like, you know, make one window at a time and then make the other one. Or I could make like a whole line for the windows and then mark them off and erase the in between this. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to line up my ruler on my screen. That's what I'm doing right now with this bottom line and the vanishing point to the right. The one on the same side. And I'm going to follow my ruler and it ends right about here, I'll say. That way I don't have to erase if I extend that line all the way down. Then I'm going to figure out where I was on this corner before I move my mouse. The X says 556, so I'm going to click there, come up till it says 556. Well, actually, I should do the top first. So I'm going to come over here, click on the top of this line, put my ruler on the screen where my mouse is, and line it up with the vanishing point to the right. Then I'm going to follow my ruler down, and since I can't see where that ends because my ruler's in the way, I'm just going to guess. Shift, click. Oh, wow, I got that pretty much right on. So then I'm going to come back to here where it said 556, click, follow this up till it meets this line right where it says 556. Oops, 556. Right, oops, I went too far. There. So now that's perfectly vertical. Now if I want to hash this off and like make it into two windows, then I just kind of figure out where the middle of this line is, and I could put my ruler up here, measure, find the exact middle, and like come over a little bit to make the division, but I'm just going to eyeball this for now. So I'm going to stay right here. My X is 492. So I'm going to come down here to 492 and make a line. And then I'm going to come over here a little bit, and I'm going to turn this into two windows. So 516 for that X coordinate, and hold shift on 516. There we go. And then I could leave that like that if I think that looks cool, or I could take my eraser and come in here and get rid of, oops, maybe I did a little too much there, and just get rid of the line in between here with the eraser tool. And I can get in there and get that all perfect, and so there's like no overlap of that little orange line there. And then I'll take the black again to keep things consistent. And just to show you again how to add depth, take the farthest corner away, put a dot. I'm lining up my real ruler on the screen right now with the dot I just made and the opposite vanishing point, so the one on the left. I'm following my ruler and it intersects this line right about here, so I'm going to hold shift and click. And now I have, depth to my design. You could also like make mini blinds, like if I wanted to make a bunch of lines that went this way, or like I could make a shade, if I line up my window with the vanishing point to the right, I can make like a little window shade, like the curtains are half drawn. My ruler intersects right about here when it lines up with the vanishing point and that point. Shift, click. And so now I can make like a little, one of those little window shady things if I wanted to, So there you go. There's some like different options for doors and windows and whatnot. So I hope you found this demo exciting and helpful. And again, this is where we're headed in the next demo. So hopefully you'll join me and you'll see how we finish this off. Thanks and have a great day.